The quantum shift is the forgotten key to shifting your reality without force or struggle. In this audiobook, you'll uncover why the universe responds not to what you want, but to who you are being. When your inner frequency changes, the world must follow. The Quantum Shift. Introduction. Long before equations named the invisible and instruments attempted to measure the unseen, there were those who knew. They spoke softly of a sacred truth, that the world you perceive is born from consciousness itself, and that reality bends in quiet obedience to the state of the one who beholds it. This knowledge was never lost, only hidden beneath the noise of appearances. You stand now at the threshold of that remembrance. What modern minds call the quantum field, the ancients recognized as the living sea of oneness in which all things arise and dissolve. Within it there is no distance, no separation, no chance. There is only relationship, everything touching everything else through an unseen intelligence that responds to awareness. Your thoughts are not fleeting visitors in a private mind. They are movements within this field, subtle commands spoken in the language of being. Each feeling you entertain, each belief you hold as true, ripples outward and inward at once, shaping experience before it ever takes form. Manifestation, then, is not an act of force. It is an act of alignment. You have been taught to strive, to ask, to wait. Yet the deeper law reveals something far more intimate. You are not calling reality toward you. You are allowing it to reflect you. The universe does not respond to desire alone. It answers identity. It echoes consistency. It mirrors essence. When you shift who you are within, when your inner state settles into harmony, life reorganizes itself with effortless precision. Doors open without struggle. Encounters arrive unannounced. What once felt distant reveals itself as inevitable. Abundance is not summoned. It is recognized. Love is not pursued. It is unveiled. Peace is not achieved. It is remembered. These states do not come from outside you, for they were never separate from you. This is the quantum truth behind all creation. You are not here to become powerful. You are here to awaken to the power you have always been. Before we get into the book, comment "I am ready" to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening Field. Chapter 1. The Whisper Beneath Matter. The patterns that dance through your life are not random occurrences, but reflections of an inner symphony playing through the quantum field. Let us begin with the tale of Mabel, who dwelt in confusion over the cycles that seemed to repeat endlessly in her days. In the soft glow of twilight, as she gazed through her window at the city lights, Mabel witnessed a truth that had always existed, yet remained unseen. The way her colleague had reacted that morning mirrored her own hidden fears. The unexpected delay in her plans echoed her reluctance to move forward. Like ripples in glass, her emotional state created waves that touched everything and everyone around her. This revelation unveils an essential truth. The universe responds not to the force of will, but to the clarity of your inner state. When your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs align in harmony, reality shifts with an effortless grace that no amount of striving could achieve. Consider now the wisdom discovered by Clarence, a merchant who had long struggled to expand his modest shop. His transformation began not with ambitious plans or tireless labor, but with a simple shift in perception. Each morning, before opening his doors, he spent moments in genuine appreciation, not for what he hoped would come, but for what already was. This practice was not mere positive thinking. It was a precise calibration of his energy field. As his gratitude deepened, remarkable coincidences began to unfold. A chance conversation led to an unexpected partnership. A wrong turn brought him face to face with an opportunity he could never have planned. The quantum field responds to the quality of your attention. Like a mirror reflecting your inner state, it magnifies whatever frequency you hold consistent. This is why alignment must precede any outer change. Your emotional state is not just a response to life. It is the technology through which you shape it. Now, let us engage in an ancient practice that awakens this understanding within your own experience. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Become aware of your surroundings without looking at them. Feel how everything you usually observe is actually observing you through the lens of your own consciousness. Allow this mutual awareness to dissolve the illusion of separation between observer and observed. Notice how effort gives way to flow as you recognize yourself as both the perceiver and the perceived. In this space of unity, manifestation becomes natural as breath. Chapter 2. The Mirror of Frequency. The quantum field speaks a language more subtle than words, and your thoughts are the instruments through which its music plays. This truth became crystal clear through the experience of Beatrice, a wise woman who lived in a small coastal village. Day after day, Beatrice found herself caught in a web of dissatisfaction. Her garden withered despite constant care, her relationships grew thorny, and her small business struggled to flourish. Yet through careful observation, she uncovered a pattern that would transform her understanding of reality's hidden mechanics. Each complaint she voiced seemed to multiply, like images in a hall of mirrors stretching toward infinity. When she lamented the scarcity of customers, the streets grew quieter. When she spoke of others' unfairness, more people treated her unkindly. Her words were not merely describing her reality. They were instructing the quantum field how to arrange itself. This reveals one of the most powerful principles of consciousness. Observation shapes form. The universe does not simply reflect your thoughts. It obeys them as precise vibrational instructions. Your attention, weighted with feeling, molds the invisible substance from which all experiences arise. This wisdom found perfect expression in the tale of Lester, a merchant who journeyed between distant kingdoms. Where others saw misfortune, he discovered opportunity's subtle signature. When storms delayed his caravan, he smiled, knowing that timing holds wisdom beyond human understanding. When competitors threatened his trade routes, he welcomed the challenge as an invitation to innovation. Something remarkable began to occur. The very obstacles that would have defeated others transformed into stepping stones for his success. Hostile rivals became valuable allies. Market downturns revealed hidden opportunities. The quantum field, responding to his unwavering positive perspective, rearranged circumstances to match his inner vision. Remember, the universe responds not to your words, but to the emotional tone that carries them. Like a masterful composer, it arranges reality to harmonize with your dominant frequency. Your thoughts and feelings are not passive observers, but active instructions to the field of all possibility. Let us now engage in an ancient practice that aligns your inner voice with the frequency of creation. Find a quiet moment and turn your attention inward. Listen to the quality of voice that narrates your thoughts. Notice its tone, its texture, its emotional coloring. Is it harsh or gentle? Worried or peaceful? Now, with the same care a musician uses to tune an instrument, begin to adjust this inner voice. Let it soften into the warm tones of appreciation. Find one small detail in your present moment worthy of genuine gratitude. Feel how this shift in your inner atmosphere creates a corresponding shift in the space around you. The air itself begins to hum with the frequency of your appreciation, inviting similar experiences to materialize in your outer world. Chapter 3. The Vibrational Signature. The quantum field echoes your inner frequency with perfect fidelity. Through careful observation, you will discover that your thoughts are not mere observers of reality. They are its architects, shaping the very fabric of your experience with mathematical precision. Consider Clara, whose brushstrokes once danced with vitality across her canvases. In her early days, she painted purely for the joy of creation, and her work radiated with an energy that drew admirers from across the land. Yet as recognition grew, she began painting what she thought others wanted to see. Her art, once alive with authentic expression, became rigid and lifeless. The colors dulled, the compositions felt forced, and the magic that had characterized her work vanished like morning mist. This transformation reveals a fundamental truth. Creation powered by fear inevitably collapses. Your signature frequency, the unique vibrational pattern that defines your authentic self, cannot be fabricated or forced. It emerges naturally when you align with your truth, like a flower turning toward the sun. The quantum teachings speak of this signature frequency as your energetic fingerprint. It is not something you must construct or design. It already exists within you, waiting to be uncovered through honest self-expression. When you operate from this authentic core, the universe responds with corresponding precision. Milton, who spent his days among the whispers of ancient tomes, understood this principle intuitively. In the quiet corners of his library, he began speaking gentle words of belonging to his beloved books. "You are home," he would murmur to each volume he shelved, "and I am complete in your presence." What began as a private ritual soon manifested in unexpected ways. A new patron appeared, someone who shared his passion for forgotten stories and quiet wisdom. Their connection deepened, and Milton discovered that his whispered affirmations had somehow called forth a companion whose frequency matched his own. This parable illuminates a vital truth. Every word you speak, whether aloud or in the silence of your mind, transmits precise instructions to the matrix of being. Your thoughts and emotions are not contained within you. They ripple outward, encoding the quantum field with patterns that will manifest in physical form. Practice. The ancient art of frequency expansion. Find a quiet space where you will remain undisturbed. Close your eyes and summon your favorite emotion. Perhaps joy, peace, or love. Allow this feeling to arise naturally within your heart. Now imagine this emotion as a warm light expanding outward from your chest. Feel it growing larger, filling the space around you. Let it touch every corner of the room, every molecule of air. As this emotion expands, know that you are literally programming the quantum field. Your feeling is writing its unique signature into the fabric of space-time, creating a template that circumstances will align to match. Remain in this state for several minutes, allowing your chosen frequency to fully saturate your surroundings. Remember, this practice is not about forcing or straining. It is a gentle allowing, a natural expansion of what already exists within you. The quantum field recognizes and responds to authenticity, not effort. Chapter 4. The Law Beneath the Law. The quantum teachings speak of this signature frequency not as something you create, but as an essence you unveil through surrendering to your deepest truth. Like a radio tuning to a station that already exists, you align with your authentic vibration rather than manufacturing it. Dorothy's tale offers wisdom in this regard. She would often lament that manifestation remained beyond her reach, declaring with certainty that these universal laws worked for others, but not for her. Yet in this very declaration lay a perfect demonstration of manifestation at work, for she manifested exactly what she believed with flawless precision. Her experience unveils a crucial understanding. The law of attraction operates not as an isolated force, but as an offspring of a more fundamental principle, the entanglement of consciousness itself with the fabric of reality. This truth found its mirror in Percy, a humble shopkeeper who stumbled upon an ancient teaching that spoke of the consciousness inherent in all things. Where others saw mere objects, he recognized the spark of awareness dwelling within each item in his shop. He began greeting his wares each morning, thanking his door as it opened, acknowledging the wisdom in his accounting books. What began as a simple practice soon transformed his entire experience. Synchronicities blossomed like spring flowers, customers appearing precisely when needed, suppliers offering unexpected opportunities, solutions emerging from seemingly random encounters. Through this practice, Percy discovered that the universe responds not to demands, but to recognition. The quantum field does not require your belief, but it mirrors your awareness with unwavering loyalty. When you approach existence with reverence rather than expectation, the field's response shifts from resistance to resonance. This is not about controlling reality, but about remembering your place within its vast tapestry. Ancient practice, the bow of being. Find a quiet moment at the start of your day. Standing in your space, begin to acknowledge everything in your field of awareness. Bow inwardly to each object, person, or circumstance you encounter. Let this bow be a gesture of recognition rather than submission, an acknowledgement of the consciousness that dwells within all things. As you move through your day, maintain this practice of inner reverence. Notice how your world begins to mirror this respect back to you, how needs transform into collaborative dances with reality itself. In this practice lies the key to quantum manifestation, not through forcing, but through honoring the consciousness that connects all things. Chapter 5. The Silent Command. In the ancient marketplaces of distant lands, a woman named Ethel devoted countless hours to reciting sacred phrases. With diligence, she repeated manifestation mantras morning and night, yet her circumstances remained unchanged. Her lips moved, but her heart held back, caught in the grip of doubt that created a chasm between her words and their power. The universal wisdom teaches us that words alone cannot bridge the gap between desire and manifestation. Like a garden that withers beneath empty clouds, affirmations without the water of belief bear no fruit. The power lies not in the sounds we make, but in the resonance we embody. This truth revealed itself through Clyde, a humble craftsman who discovered that less could indeed become more. Where others filled the air with countless declarations, he chose instead to speak sparingly, but to feel deeply. When he did voice his intentions, each word carried the weight of unwavering certainty. He had learned that the universe responds not to the volume of our requests, but to the depth of our conviction. His transformation began when he stopped trying to convince the universe and started communing with it. Rather than reciting lengthy affirmations, he would hold a single thought and let it saturate his being until his entire body vibrated with its truth. The shifts in his life occurred not because he spoke more skillfully, but because he felt more authentically. This wisdom points to an essential truth. The quantum field responds to the language of pure feeling. Words may direct our attention, but it is our emotional resonance that sends ripples through the fabric of reality. The universe comprehends not through our vocabulary, but through the vibrational signature of our being. When you find yourself caught in the trap of endless repetition, pause. Notice how your body feels as you speak your desires. Is there tension, resistance, or does your whole being expand with the natural recognition of truth? The power lies not in perfecting your phrases, but in allowing your entire being to become a living affirmation of what you seek. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and bring to mind something you wish to manifest. Now, release all words and let the pure feeling of having this desire fulfilled flow through you. Don't name it, describe it, or tell stories about it. Simply feel it. Let this wordless knowing radiate from your center outward until your entire being becomes a clear signal to the universe. Maintain this state for several minutes, allowing emotion to speak its own language of pure vibration. This is the ancient art of manifesting through feeling tone rather than thought form. This practice restores the original language of creation, pure, unspoken resonance with the quantum field. Chapter 6. The Resonance of Choice. In the quiet moments between thoughts lies a truth as old as existence itself. Each hesitation sends ripples through the quantum field. This wisdom emerged through the story of Velma, who stood perpetually at life's crossroads, weighing options until they dissolved into mist. Her indecision created a vibrational pattern that the universe could only mirror with more uncertainty. You may recognize this pattern within yourself, the endless analysis, the seeking of perfect timing, the hope that circumstances will somehow clarify your path. Yet the ancient teaching reveals that the universe responds not to contemplation, but to conviction. Each moment of hesitation broadcasts a frequency of doubt, and the field, in its infinite wisdom, can only return experiences that match this wavelength. The quantum truth whispers that choice itself shapes reality. When you decide, you align every particle of your being with a singular frequency. This alignment is not about forcing outcomes, but about tuning your entire vibrational field to a clear note. The universe does not require your certainty about results. It simply awaits your decision about who you are in this moment. This truth found its expression through Floyd, a merchant who had long measured his choices against their potential outcomes. His fortunes shifted dramatically when he made a singular decision: to choose joy regardless of circumstances. He stopped questioning whether his choice was correct. He ceased analyzing whether joy was warranted. He simply decided, and in that decision, his entire vibrational signature transformed. What followed seemed like magic to those who didn't understand the law. Opportunities appeared from unexpected directions, chance meetings opened new pathways, and resources aligned with his needs. But Floyd had not manipulated reality. He had simply decided to resonate with abundance, and the universe could only respond in kind. The power lies not in making the right choice, but in making any choice fully. When you decide with your whole being, you send clear instructions to the quantum field. Wavering between options creates interference patterns that cancel each other out. But a clear decision, held steady in your consciousness, allows the universe to organize itself around your chosen frequency. Ancient practice. Select one emotional tone, perhaps joy, peace, or abundance, and hold it as your unwavering choice for a single day. Do not judge its effects or seek evidence of its power. Simply maintain this tone as your decided state of being, knowing that every atom in your vicinity is participating in your choice. Let your decision stand pure and unquestioned, for in this clarity lies the power to reshape your reality. Chapter 7. The Field of Permission. Long ago, in a village near a sacred grove, there lived a weaver named Nettie, whose tapestries held the colors of dawn. Though her work stirred wonder in others' hearts, she kept her most vibrant threads hidden away, believing she needed approval to weave her truest visions. Each morning, she would stand before her loom, fingers hesitating over the golden threads that called to her soul. The universe operates through an ancient and unwavering principle. All permission flows from within. Like water seeking its own level, your creative force naturally rises to match your self-acceptance. When you wait for external validation, you misunderstand the very nature of power. It was never anyone else's to give. Resistance masquerades as wisdom, whispering of caution and timing. Yet this voice of doubt is not protection but limitation in disguise. Every moment spent seeking permission is a moment of denying your natural state of creative authority. The universe responds not to your requests for approval, but to your declaration of I am. In a distant mountain monastery, a monk named Irving discovered this truth. For years, he tended the smallest garden while dreaming of cultivating vast fields of healing herbs. His humble service masked a grander vision that he dared not claim. One morning, as he watched the sun rise over the peaks, understanding dawned within his heart. His hesitation was not humility but fear dressed in virtue's robes. The moment Irving forgave himself for the magnitude of his dreams, forgotten pathways appeared. Fellow monks offered their help, travelers brought rare seeds, and the very earth seemed to embrace his expanded vision. His story illuminates the core truth. Self-trust resonates at the highest frequency in the universal field. What you label as too much or not yet are simply barriers of your own making. The universe knows no such limitations. It responds to the pure signal of your authentic desires, unmuffled by doubt or apology. When you grant yourself permission to expand, the field of infinite possibility recognizes its own reflection in your certainty. The ancient practice of self-authorization. Find a quiet space and settle into stillness. Close your eyes and whisper inwardly, I am safe to want what I want. Feel how the very air around you softens, how the atmosphere shifts to embrace your desires. Let this truth settle into your bones. You need no outside authority to approve your dreams. They are already sanctioned by the universe itself. Chapter 8. the circuit of compassion. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Hazel tended her small herb shop, meticulously counting every leaf she gave away. Each exchange left her feeling diminished, as though pieces of herself scattered with every transaction. Night after night, she would return home exhausted, convinced that serving others meant depleting herself. The universal truth whispers that energy moves not in straight lines but in perfect circles. Like water flowing through endless cycles of rain and river, what you release must return. This ancient wisdom reveals that giving is not sacrifice, but participation in the cosmic dance of exchange. You stand at the center of an infinite circuit. Every gesture of generosity creates a loop that inevitably finds its way back to its source. When you grasp this truth, the fear of depletion dissolves into trust in this eternal circulation. The universe knows no loss, only transformation and return. In a distant valley, there lived a man named Vernon, who discovered this sacred mathematics of the heart. Each morning, he began blessing those who tested his patience, the neighbor whose dog barked through the night, the clerk who never smiled, the rival who spoke ill of his work. At first, it seemed his kindness disappeared into void, but slowly, like seeds sprouting in hidden soil, his blessings bore fruit. Strangers began appearing at precise moments to offer help he never requested. Opportunities arose through unlikely channels. Those he had blessed, without knowing why, found themselves extending kindness in return. The cosmic circuit had completed its circle. This is not mere coincidence, but the exact science of spiritual reciprocity. When you send forth genuine blessing, you create a magnetic field that draws corresponding energies back to you. The universe maintains perfect accounts, not through judgment, but through resonance. Like attracts like across the infinite web of connection, your capacity to receive expands in direct proportion to your willingness to give. Yet this giving must arise from abundance rather than lack, from joy rather than obligation. When you give from wholeness, you open yourself to receive in kind. The practice. As you move through your day, pause before the next face you encounter. In that moment, offer a silent blessing from your heart, pure, unconditional, expecting nothing in return. Then remain quietly aware as that same current of blessing finds its way back to you through unexpected channels. Feel the circle complete itself. Chapter 9. The Still Point of Time. Long ago in a mountain village, a weaver named Winnie worked at her loom from dawn until dusk. Her fingers flew across the threads with desperate speed, each motion rushed and anxious. Though her tapestries held great beauty, they also carried the tension of her hurried spirit. More, faster, sooner became the rhythm of her days, yet abundance seemed to dance always just beyond her reach. The universe operates not by the mechanical tick of seconds, but through the flowing river of consciousness. When you align with this truth, you discover that time itself is as malleable as clay in the potter's hands. The field of infinite possibility responds not to the force of your striving, but to the coherence of your energy, the degree to which your thoughts, emotions, and actions resonate in harmony. In the marketplace across the valley lived Jasper, a potter whose hands moved with the unhurried grace of falling leaves. While others rushed to sell their wares, he sat in meditation before beginning his work each day. Rather than wrestling with time, he dissolved into it, allowing the moments to flow through him like water. As his consciousness expanded beyond the illusion of minutes and hours, he found that opportunities, customers, and inspiration arrived with perfect timing, not according to his demands, but in alignment with the natural rhythm of creation. This ancient teaching unveils a paradox. The more you chase time, the more it eludes you. Yet when you rest in the eternal now, time becomes your ally rather than your master. Your power lies not in controlling the hours, but in harmonizing with the cosmic dance that orchestrates all events in perfect sequence. The field responds to the quality of your presence, not the quantity of your action. When you rush toward your desires, you broadcast a frequency of lack, a signal that says, not enough time, not enough yet. But when you sink into the timeless awareness of your own being, you emit the frequency of completion. From this space, manifestation unfolds not through force but through allowance. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and release all notion of schedule and deadline. Breathe as though you have nowhere else to reach and watch how every goal begins to approach you instead. Let each breath remind you that you exist in the eternal now, where all possibilities already reside. Maintain this practice until you feel time dissolve into pure presence. Chapter 10. The Light Behind the Shadow. In a secluded valley, a young woman named Millie spent her days tending to her garden. Though the soil was rich and the sun generous, her harvest remained meager. Not because she lacked skill or dedication, but because her thoughts cast long shadows over every seed she planted. "Nothing ever grows right for me," she would whisper, and the universe, ever faithful to our deepest beliefs, proved her right. The law of attraction operates not through perfection, but through wholeness. Like a river that flows both smooth and turbulent, the quantum field responds to the full spectrum of your being. Your shadows are not obstacles to be conquered, but aspects of yourself awaiting recognition. When you resist any part of your experience, you fragment your energy and dilute your creative power. Consider the ancient wisdom. What you fight, you feed. What you embrace, you transform. Your negative thoughts are not your enemies. They are messengers carrying gifts of awareness. The field of infinite possibility does not demand that you maintain constant positivity. Instead, it asks for your honesty, your willingness to stand in the truth of your experience. Ellis, a merchant in a bustling port city, discovered this wisdom through his own journey. For years, he suppressed his anger, believing it would poison his manifestations. He smiled through gritted teeth and spoke gentle words while rage simmered beneath. His relationships grew strained, his business faltered, and the more he denied his anger, the more powerfully it leaked into his reality. Then one stormy night, Ellis sat alone in his chamber and did something revolutionary. He welcomed his anger as an honored guest. He didn't try to change it or push it away. He simply sat with it, breathing into its presence, offering it the same compassion he would show a wounded child. As he held space for this rejected part of himself, something extraordinary began to unfold. His anger, finally acknowledged, began to reveal its wisdom. It showed him where his boundaries needed strengthening, where his truth needed voice, where his power awaited reclamation. As Ellis learned to integrate rather than exile his shadows, his entire field of manifestation transformed. His relationships deepened with newfound authenticity. His business flourished as he learned to say no as clearly as he said yes. This is the alchemy of shadow work. Not the elimination of darkness, but its transformation through acceptance. When you embrace all aspects of yourself, you become a clear channel for creation. Your energy field strengthens not through denial, but through integration. The most powerful manifestations emerge not from a place of forced positivity, but from a state of authentic wholeness. Like a master composer who knows both major and minor keys are essential to the symphony, you learn to work with all the notes of your being. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Bring to mind an emotion you've been avoiding. Rather than pushing it away, breathe into its presence. Feel its texture, its temperature, its weight. Hold it with the same tenderness you would offer a small child. Watch as this simple act of acceptance begins to transform the energy from lead into gold within your awareness. Part 2. The Mastery of Entanglement. Chapter 11. The Unified Heart. Along a winding mountain path lived Rosie, who spent countless hours in fervent prayer. Each morning and night she would kneel beside her bed, hands clasped tightly, reciting carefully crafted requests to the universe. Yet despite her dedication, her prayers seemed to echo unanswered in the vastness of space. What she did not yet understand was that true prayer is not a transaction, but a transformation. The quantum field responds not to what we ask, but to what we become. When you approach the universe with demands, you maintain the illusion of separation. But when you align your vibration with the essence of what you seek, you dissolve the boundary between asker and answer. This is the hidden wisdom within every spiritual tradition. Prayer is not about reaching outward, but awakening inward to what already exists. Your heart holds the key to this sacred communion. Within its steady rhythm lies the bridge between the visible and invisible realms. Each heartbeat is a pulse of pure potential, a moment where thought and feeling can merge into manifestation. When you synchronize your consciousness with this natural rhythm, you enter the stream of creation itself. Darrell, a humble shopkeeper, stumbled upon this truth during his darkest hour. After losing everything he owned in a flood, he found himself sitting in the ruins of his store. But instead of begging the universe for help, he began to notice his breath, and with each inhale, he acknowledged something that remained. The walls still stood. The sun still rose. His heart still beat. With every breath, he added a whisper of thanks, not for what he wanted, but for what was. Gradually, his breathing and gratitude became one rhythm, one song. He wasn't trying to attract anything. He had simply found his place in the universal dance. Yet as this alignment deepened, extraordinary things began to unfold. Customers appeared with exactly what he needed. Suppliers offered unprecedented terms. Strangers stopped to help without being asked. It wasn't that Darrell had become lucky. He had become coherent. His heart and mind now spoke the same language, and the universe could not help but respond in kind. This is the essence of quantum prayer, the recognition that you are not separate from what you seek. Every desire already exists within the field of infinite possibility. Your role is not to beg for its appearance, but to attune yourself to its presence. When heart and mind synchronize in gratitude, you become a natural conduit for grace. The field of creation does not respond to volume, but to resonance. A whispered truth that aligns heart and mind carries more power than 1,000 shouted requests. This is why the ancient masters taught in silence. They understood that true prayer is a state of being, not a formula of words. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Place your hand upon your heart and feel its steady rhythm. With each beat, allow gratitude to rise naturally, without forcing or directing it. Let your breath fall into rhythm with your heartbeat. Don't ask for anything. Simply commune with the pulse of life flowing through you. Feel how your entire being begins to synchronize with this rhythm until prayer and presence become one movement, one dance, one song. Chapter 12. The observer becomes the artist. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Sadie drifted from stall to stall, watching life unfold before her like scenes from a distant play. Each moment passed as though projected on a screen. The laughter of children, the exchange of coins, the dance of morning light through fabric awnings, yet she remained a spectator to her own existence. The universe whispers an ancient truth. You are not merely watching the film of your life. You are its director, cinematographer, and leading actor. Every frame captures not just what is, but what you choose to see. Your gaze is the lens through which reality takes shape, and your attention is the light that brings each scene to life. This wisdom emerged in Walter's life with stunning clarity. A humble gardener by trade, he began a simple yet transformative practice. Each morning, as he tended to his flowers, he would whisper, "I created this beauty." When birds visited his feeders, he smiled and thought, "I invited this melody." Even as clouds gathered overhead, he nodded appreciatively and mused, "I composed this symphony of weather." At first, this felt like mere pretense, yet as days turned to weeks, something remarkable occurred. His garden grew more vibrant than ever before. Birds began to appear precisely when he longed for their songs. Even the rain seemed to fall in perfect rhythm with his plants' needs. The universe had begun responding to his artistic claim upon reality. The secret lies not in controlling outcomes, but in recognizing your role as co-creator. Every moment you witness is simultaneously a moment you help create. Your observation is not passive. It is a brush painting reality into being. When you embrace this truth, the world transforms from a movie you watch into a masterpiece you craft. Consider how a painter does not force the canvas to yield beauty. They simply recognize and release it through loving attention. Similarly, your awareness, when coupled with appreciation, becomes the force through which potential becomes manifest. Each glance of recognition, each moment of conscious attention, serves as an invitation for reality to align with your vision. Ancient practice. Settle into a comfortable position and select an ordinary object in your surroundings, perhaps a simple cup, a leaf, or a beam of sunlight. Begin to praise its existence with genuine appreciation. Notice its shape, its purpose, its perfect presence in this moment. Continue this appreciation until you sense the object's essence expanding, reaching back toward you like a flower turning toward the sun. Feel how your attention transforms the mundane into the magnificent, revealing the hidden splendor in all things. Chapter 13. The Echo of Belief. In the ancient halls of understanding, a truth lies waiting. The dialogue between your conscious and subconscious mind shapes the very fabric of your reality. Annie stood at this threshold of wisdom, proclaiming abundance with her lips while her inner voice whispered tales of scarcity. Like many before her, she wondered why her affirmations seemed to float away like leaves in the wind, never taking root in the soil of manifestation. The quantum field responds not to the words we speak, but to the harmony between our surface declarations and our deepest beliefs. When these two voices sing in discord, the universe can only mirror back this misalignment. It is through this understanding that we uncover a fundamental truth. Your reality is not shaped by what you say, but by the resonance between your spoken desires and your hidden convictions. Roland's journey illuminates this principle with crystal clarity. Each morning, he would pause before his mirror, noting the subtle tightening in his chest when thoughts of lack arose. Instead of pushing these sensations away, he learned to recognize them as messengers from his subconscious realm. With patient dedication, he began replacing each whisper of doubt with a tone of reverence. There is never enough transformed into, I am surrounded by infinite possibility. I can't afford it became, I am grateful for the abundance flowing through my life. The shift was subtle at first, an unexpected refund here, a surprising opportunity there. But as his inner dialogue aligned with his spoken intentions, the quantum field responded with increasing precision. His experience teaches us that manifestation flows not from the force of our declarations, but from the purity of our internal harmony. The universe operates like an infinite echo chamber, returning to us the exact frequency of our deepest beliefs. When you speak of abundance while harboring thoughts of lack, you create interference patterns that cancel out your intentions. But when you align your conscious affirmations with your subconscious convictions, you establish a clear channel through which the quantum field can operate. This is not merely about positive thinking. It is about energetic coherence. Your subconscious mind must be gently guided into alignment with your conscious desires, like tuning an instrument to produce a pure note. Each thought, each feeling, each subtle belief contributes to the symphony of your reality. Ancient wisdom practice. As you lay down to rest tonight, allow yourself to emit a single tone, a hum that resonates with complete faith in the abundance of the universe. Let this sound vibrate through your body until every cell recognizes its own capacity for receiving. This is not a practice of asking, but of remembering. Let your entire being become an instrument of certainty, playing the music of absolute trust in life's infinite generosity. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Bridge of Emotion. In the sacred chambers of your heart lies a truth. Emotion forms the bridge between thought and manifestation. Within these ancient teachings, a story unfolds of Lottie, who built walls around her feelings, believing that numbness would shield her from life's disappointments. Each day, she spoke affirmations with precision, but held her emotions at arm's length, unknowing that this very distance created a chasm between her desires and their fulfillment. The universal law whispers that emotion serves as the current through which intention flows into form. Like water seeking its course, your feelings carry the seeds of manifestation through the quantum field. When you dam this river of emotion, you unknowingly block the very force designed to bring your dreams to shore. Horace discovered this truth through lived experience. After years of guarding himself against excitement, he made a courageous choice to feel again. One morning, he allowed himself to experience genuine enthusiasm about a business idea. Rather than temper his excitement with cautious restraint, he gave himself permission to ride the wave of possibility. Within days, synchronicities began to appear. A chance meeting with an investor, an unexpected phone call from an old colleague, a timely introduction to the perfect business partner. These weren't mere coincidences, but the quantum field responding to his emotional resonance. Through Horace's awakening, the teaching becomes clear. Emotion isn't a liability to be managed, but a vehicle of creation. When you allow yourself to feel deeply, you activate the ancient technology of manifestation. Your genuine emotions serve as the energy that propels your intentions from the realm of thought into physical reality. Yet this wisdom asks something of you: the courage to feel. Many souls, like Lottie, believe that emotional distance equals safety. But in the grand design of universal law, feeling is not risk. It is the very channel through which your desires traverse the unseen into the seen. Practice. Sacred emotional attunement. Find a quiet moment in your day. Choose one authentic feeling, be it joy, anticipation, or wonder, and grant it full permission to exist within you. Don't analyze or judge it. Simply allow it to flow through your being like light through crystal. Feel it in your body, your breath, your energy field. Trust that this emotion carries the blueprint of your desire through the quantum field, transforming intention into tangible reality. This is not merely an exercise. It is the activation of an ancient alchemical process, transforming the ethereal into the material through the power of pure feeling. Chapter 15. The Quantum Conversation. In a mountain village lived a woman named Opal, who spent countless hours in meditation, desperately seeking messages from her spirit guides. She filled notebooks with questions, burned sacred herbs, and waited for dramatic signs that would illuminate her path. Yet despite her fervent dedication, she felt as though her prayers echoed in an empty chamber. The wisdom of quantum entanglement teaches that the universe speaks not through supernatural proclamations, but through the subtle language of synchronicity. Your world constantly whispers through the timing of events, the placement of objects, and the seemingly random encounters that grace your day. When you attune yourself to this divine conversation, you begin to recognize that every moment carries meaning. The universe does not require complex rituals or elaborate ceremonies to communicate. It speaks through the poetry of everyday life. Each synchronicity serves as a letter in this cosmic alphabet, spelling out messages through the timing of your experiences. Consider how the field of infinite possibility orchestrates itself around your consciousness. That unexpected phone call, the book that falls open to exactly the page you needed to read, the stranger who mentions precisely what you've been contemplating. These are not accidents, but responses to your vibrational inquiry. Gilbert, a merchant in a bustling city, discovered this truth through an unexpected path. After years of seeking guidance through traditional spiritual practices, he began treating silence as a form of dialogue. Rather than filling the air with questions, he learned to pause and notice. When he stopped demanding answers, he found them appearing naturally in the flow of his daily life. As Gilbert embraced this practice, his world transformed into a living oracle. The license plate ahead of him would reflect the very numbers he'd been thinking about. A chance conversation would answer the question he'd held in his heart. Without seeking dramatic signs, he found himself guided by the graceful choreography of circumstance. His experience reveals a fundamental truth. The cosmos communicates not through words, but through resonance. When you release the need for specific forms of guidance, you open yourself to receive wisdom through infinite channels. The universe speaks fluent feeling, and every coincidence carries a message for those who learn to listen with their heart rather than their ears. The secret lies in recognizing that you exist within a living conversation. Every moment holds meaning. Every synchronicity offers guidance, and every coincidence serves as a response to your unspoken questions. The field of infinite possibility doesn't need words to communicate. It uses the language of life itself. Practice. Sacred synchronicity. When a coincidence graces your path, pause and whisper, "Thank you." Let this simple acknowledgement serve as your reply in the ongoing dialogue with the universe. Each synchronicity becomes a thread in the tapestry of divine communication, weaving together the seen and unseen realms of existence. In this way, every moment becomes part of an eternal conversation between your consciousness and the infinite intelligence that surrounds you. Chapter 16. The Dance of Polarity. Long ago, in a bustling market square, a merchant named Flora withdrew from every hint of discord. She shrank from heated negotiations, avoided challenging conversations, and sought only peaceful interactions. Her fear of conflict became a prison, limiting her ability to embrace life's full spectrum. The quantum field reveals a profound truth. Opposition is not an error in creation's design, but its very engine. Like the poles of a magnet or the ebb and flow of tides, contrasting forces generate the energy that propels evolution. When you resist this natural tension, you resist the very mechanism of growth. Through the eternal wisdom of quantum entanglement, we understand that what appears as conflict in the material realm manifests as creative potential in the quantum field. Just as light requires darkness to be perceived, joy deepens through knowing sorrow, and strength emerges from challenge. These are not battles to be won, but partnerships in the cosmic dance. Rufus, a village elder, discovered this truth through his own journey. Rather than pushing away difficult emotions or clinging solely to pleasant ones, he learned to welcome each feeling as a teacher. His sorrows opened channels of compassion he never knew existed, while his joys became more profound for having known their opposite. As he embraced this wholeness, his ability to manifest shifted from forced effort to natural flow. This understanding transforms manifestation from a practice of elimination to one of integration. The quantum field responds not to what you exclude, but to the harmony you create within contrast. When you accept that challenge strengthens vision, that resistance builds resilience, and that darkness defines light, you align with the universe's natural rhythm. Your power lies not in avoiding life's polarities, but in conducting their symphony. Every contrast you encounter invites you to expand, to hold seemingly opposite truths in perfect balance. This is not mere tolerance of duality. It is the recognition that duality itself powers the engine of creation. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and bring to mind two contrasting emotions you're experiencing. Rather than choosing between them or trying to resolve their difference, imagine them as dance partners. Let them move together in your awareness, neither dominating nor surrendering, but creating something new in their interaction. Feel how their combined energy enriches your experience rather than diminishes it. Chapter 17. The Magnetic Word. In a time before memory, there lived a woman named Pearl who scattered words like autumn leaves in the wind. Her tongue danced freely, spilling complaints and criticisms, weaving tales of woe and worry without thought to their resonance in the fabric of creation. Through countless ages, masters have guarded the sacred knowledge that words are not mere sounds, but energetic formulas that program the quantum field. Each syllable carries a specific frequency, a vibrational blueprint that shapes the invisible matrix from which all manifestation springs. Your speech is not simply expression, it is creation in its most primary form. The ancient wisdom reveals that language operates as a crystalline structure in consciousness. Every word you speak sends ripples through the quantum field, arranging and rearranging the molecular patterns of possibility. These patterns become the template for physical manifestation, as surely as DNA shapes biological form. Harvey, a merchant in the Western Valleys, discovered this truth through an unexpected path. Where once he had delighted in jokes about never having enough, making light of his financial struggles, he began instead to weave humorous tales about abundance and divine provision. His wit remained sharp, but its direction shifted toward faith rather than lack. As his words changed, so did the energy around him. Others began seeking his company, drawn to the lightness of his new perspective. Business opportunities appeared as if summoned by his transformed narrative. What began as a simple shift in humor became a powerful demonstration of frequency alignment. The quantum field responds not to the dictionary meaning of words, but to their energetic signature. When Harvey replaced scarcity-based humor with abundance-focused joy, he wasn't merely changing his attitude, he was recoding the vibrational instructions being sent to the universe. Ancient practice. As evening approaches, create a sacred space of quietude. For 1 hour, let each word pass through your heart before it leaves your lips. Speak as though your voice carries the power to plant seeds in the etheric soil of tomorrow. Feel the weight and texture of each syllable, knowing it contains the essence of future manifestation. Let your words become conscious prayers, gently instructing the quantum field in the art of your becoming. Chapter 18. The Living Blueprint. In a village among ancient hills, there lived a weaver named Mamie who covered her walls with images of her desired life. Day after day, she gazed at pictures of abundance, love, and success, yet her reality remained unchanged. Her collection of vision boards grew more elaborate, while her frustration deepened with each passing season. The wisdom of the ages teaches that images alone cannot bridge the gap between dream and manifestation. The secret lies not in what your eyes behold, but in what your entire being embraces. Every cell of your body must vibrate in harmony with the frequency of your desires. When you truly understand this principle, you realize that manifestation is not a mental exercise but a full-body experience. Your physical form is an instrument of creation, designed to conduct the symphony of your intentions through every tissue, every fiber, every molecule. Consider Leo, a humble merchant who discovered this truth. Instead of merely picturing success, he began to move through his day as though his dreams had already materialized. His shoulders relaxed with quiet confidence, His steps carried the subtle rhythm of prosperity. His smile held the warmth of one who knows abundance intimately. He did not act or pretend. He simply allowed his body to remember a truth it had always known. Within months, his business flourished in ways that mirrored his embodied knowing. Opportunities appeared as naturally as breath, and success flowed as effortlessly as a stream finding its course. The universe responds not to what you think about, but to what you emanate. Your physical form is a broadcasting station, continuously transmitting signals through the quantum field. When your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations align in perfect harmony, you become a living magnet for your desires. This is why ancient teachings emphasize the art of becoming rather than the act of wanting. Your body knows no difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined with feeling. When you allow your physical form to resonate with your vision, you create a bridge between potential and manifestation. Practice. Stand tall as though your wish is fulfilled, and let the body memorize this frequency. Feel the weight of your feet upon the ground, the alignment of your spine, the subtle smile that plays upon your lips. Let every cell remember this vibration of completion, this knowing of abundance. Your body becomes the living prayer, the physical affirmation of what is already yours. Chapter 19. The Communion of Trust. Along the ancient trade routes, a merchant named Daisy meticulously planned every transaction. Her ledgers overflowed with calculations and her mornings filled with endless strategizing. Though successful by ordinary measures, she sensed a ceiling to her prosperity, a barrier no amount of planning could breach. The universe operates through a deeper principle. That which you seek arrives not through demanding guarantees, but through graceful surrender. Like water flowing downhill, abundance follows the path of least resistance. Your task is not to control the current, but to align with its natural momentum. When you release the need for certainty, you activate a profound quantum truth. That reality arranges itself most perfectly when trusted. This is not blind faith, but rather an awakening to your natural state of connection with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. Consider how a seed grows without consulting a manual, how birds navigate without maps, how your heart beats without instruction. This same intelligence stands ready to guide your path, if only you will loosen your grip on the illusion of control. In a distant valley, a humble farmer named Edwin faced a season of unprecedented drought. Rather than fighting against circumstances or demanding solutions, he chose to surrender his worry. Each morning, he tended his fields with peaceful acceptance, trusting in the wisdom of the greater whole. Remarkably, unexpected rain clouds gathered, neighboring farmers offered collaboration, and new irrigation methods emerged, all without his desperate planning. Edwin's experience illuminates a fundamental truth. The quantum field responds not to your demands, but to your trust. When you release the need to orchestrate every detail, you allow the universe's infinite organizing power to work on your behalf. This is not passive resignation, but active alignment with the creative force that shapes reality. The path to manifestation opens not through rigid control, but through relaxed participation. Your role is to hold the vision of what you desire, while releasing attachment to the precise manner of its arrival. This balance of clear intention and peaceful surrender creates the optimal conditions for quantum possibilities to emerge. Practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Bring to mind something you deeply desire but have been trying to control. Now, breathe deeply and imagine releasing your grip on the how. Feel the relief of knowing the universe holds infinite paths to your good. Let this sensation of trust fill your being until your entire body relaxes into a state of peaceful expectancy. This is the frequency of faith, the vibration that unlocks quantum cooperation. Rest in this space of trusting surrender, knowing that what you seek is already seeking you through pathways beyond your current imagination. The universe's response to your trust will arrive with a precision and perfection that your planning could never achieve. Chapter 20. The Radiance of Allowing. In a village nestled among ancient hills lived a woman named Lena who believed control meant safety. Each morning she wrote detailed scripts for how her day should unfold, scheduling every interaction, planning each conversation. Yet despite her meticulous orchestration, joy eluded her grasp. The more tightly she clutched at certainty, the more life seemed to slip through her fingers like water. The wisdom of the ages whispers that true mastery lies not in controlling the river's flow, but in learning to dance with its currents. When you release your grip on outcomes, the universe gains the freedom to exceed your expectations. This is not mere passivity, but rather the highest form of active trust. Through your journey of manifestation, you may have discovered that your greatest breakthroughs arrive not through force, but through surrender. The field of infinite possibilities responds not to demand, but to allowance. When you soften your stance and open your heart to unexpected gifts, life begins to flow with remarkable grace. Consider Arnold, a craftsman who once insisted on knowing every detail before beginning his work. His creations, though precise, lacked the spark of inspiration. One day, exhausted from his endless planning, he simply began to create without agenda. In that space of surrender, innovations flowed through him that his calculating mind could never have conceived. His workshop became a sanctuary of spontaneous genius, where each piece seemed to shape itself through his willing hands. The quantum field responds to trust with astonishing precision. When you release your grip on the how, you open countless channels through which abundance may flow. Your role is not to direct every detail, but to maintain the frequency of confident expectation while allowing the universe to arrange the perfect circumstances. Remember, uncertainty is not your enemy, but your ally. Each unanswered question holds within it the seed of an unexpected blessing. When you embrace the mystery, you invite the universe to surprise you with possibilities far greater than your limited planning could imagine. Sacred practice. Sit in peaceful contemplation each morning. Breathe deeply and say, "I trust in perfect unfolding. Every uncertainty carries a gift. I allow life to surprise me with blessings beyond my imagination." Feel the relief of releasing control. Let this feeling of peaceful trust accompany you throughout your day, knowing that the universe orchestrates with far greater wisdom than any human plan could achieve. Part 3. The Universe Serves You. Chapter 21. The Signature of Service. In a peaceful village by the sea there lived a healer named Elsie, who measured her worth by what she could gather. Each morning she would count her coins and possessions. her heart growing heavier with each tally. Though she offered her healing services to many, her thoughts remained fixed upon what she might gain, and slowly her once bustling practice began to dwindle. The ancient wisdom reveals that abundance flows not in straight lines, but in perfect circles. When you grasp too tightly at receiving, you unknowingly construct a dam against the natural current of prosperity. The universe operates through eternal cycles. The breath moves in and out. The tide ebbs and flows. And so too must giving and receiving dance as one. You have within you an infinite wellspring of gifts, talents, and creative energy. When you direct this force solely toward personal gain, its power diminishes. Yet when you allow it to flow freely for the joy of creation itself, you align with the cosmic law of circulation. In this alignment, prosperity becomes as natural as breathing. Consider Bernard, a gifted musician who once performed only for payment. His music, though technically perfect, had lost its soul. One day he began playing freely in the town square, seeking only to share the melodies that lived in his heart. As he surrendered to pure creative expression, something magical occurred. Those touched by his music began offering opportunities he could never have orchestrated himself. Without seeking reward, he found himself invited to perform in grand halls and distant lands. The quantum field responds not to what you attempt to take, but to what you willingly offer. When you give from authentic joy rather than obligation or expectation, you activate a resonance that magnetizes abundance back to you through unexpected channels. This is not mere cause and effect, but rather the natural harmony of a universe built on exchange. Your genuine gifts, offered freely, create ripples through the fabric of reality that return as waves of prosperity. This is not about sacrifice or self-denial, but rather about aligning with the natural flow of energy. When you serve from the heart, you become a conduit for universal abundance. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and identify one gift you can share purely for the joy of giving. It might be a skill, a kind word, or a moment of presence. Offer this gift without attachment to outcome, saying silently, "I release this offering to the flow of life, trusting in the perfect circulation of abundance." Feel how this pure giving lightens your spirit and opens new channels for receiving. Chapter 22. The Infinite Feedback Loop. In the shadows of ancient olive groves, Viola spent her days questioning whether her whispered dreams ever reached divine ears. Each morning she would send her intentions skyward, yet doubt clouded her ability to recognize the responses constantly flowing back to her. The wisdom of quantum entanglement teaches that every thought you release into the field initiates an immediate dialogue. Like ripples in still water, your intentions trigger waves of response through the fabric of reality. These replies manifest not through thunderous proclamations, but through the subtle language of synchronicity, a language you already know but may have forgotten how to read. You are never broadcasting into silence. The universe's feedback system operates with perfect precision, delivering answers through channels both ordinary and extraordinary. A chance encounter, a recurring number, a book falling open to exactly the right page. These are not random events, but carefully crafted responses to your inner dialogue. Consider Chester, a humble scribe who learned to read the sacred script of synchronicity. Where others saw mere coincidence, he recognized divine correspondence. When contemplating a life-altering decision, he noticed how certain symbols repeatedly crossed his path. A dove appearing at his window 3 mornings in succession, the same phrase echoing from different sources, or an unexpected letter arriving at the precise moment of his deepest questioning. As Chester began acknowledging these signs, their frequency and clarity increased. The universe, encouraged by his attention, spoke more distinctly through the language of meaningful coincidence. His path unfolded with remarkable grace, each step illuminated by symbols that confirmed his alignment with universal flow. The field of infinite intelligence communicates through a symphony of signs, each one precisely calibrated to your unique frequency. When you dismiss these messages as mere chance, you dim the brightness of their guidance. But when you acknowledge them with reverence, you strengthen the bridge between intention and manifestation. This sacred dialogue requires no special training or elaborate ritual. It asks only for your gentle awareness and willing recognition. Every moment carries the potential for divine conversation, through numbers that catch your eye, words that seem highlighted in your awareness, or seemingly random events that speak directly to your current situation. The universe's responses flow most clearly through your intuitive knowing. That subtle feeling of rightness, the quiet inner nudge, the spontaneous insight. These are the whispers of universal intelligence guiding you toward alignment. Your rational mind may demand louder signals, but wisdom speaks in gentle touches that resonate with your deepest truth. Sacred practice. Move through your day with soft attention, as though reading a love letter from the universe. When synchronicities appear, whether as repeated symbols, meaningful coincidences, or intuitive knowings, acknowledge them with a slight nod or silent thank you. This simple recognition strengthens your connection to the field's responsive intelligence, allowing for clearer communication between your intentions and universal wisdom. Chapter 23. The Golden Momentum. In a village nestled among rolling hills, Hattie moved from passion to passion like a leaf caught in changing winds. Each month brought a new pursuit, painting, writing, music, yet none took root deeply enough to bear fruit. With every fresh beginning, her previous aspirations withered, leaving behind a garden of incomplete dreams. The universal law reveals a truth often overlooked. Energy seeks continuity. Like a river that carves its path deeper with each passing day, your focused attention grows more powerful through consistent flow. When you fragment your energy across multiple channels, you dilute the very force that manifests your desires. The quantum field responds not to sporadic bursts of enthusiasm, but to the steady pulse of unwavering attention. Each time you abandon a path, the momentum you've built dissipates into the ether, requiring you to begin anew. This pattern of starting and stopping creates resistance in the fabric of manifestation itself. Norman, a humble craftsman, discovered this wisdom through his devotion to woodworking. While others chased varied ventures, he poured his entire being into mastering his craft. Day after day, he shaped wood with patient hands, never wavering from his chosen path. As months turned to years, extraordinary coincidences began to unfold. Rare timber appeared at his doorstep. Master artisans crossed his path at precisely the right moments. Opportunities emerged that seemed crafted specifically for his unique skills. The universe responded not just to Norman's skill, but to his unwavering dedication. His single-pointed focus created a clear channel through which abundance could flow. While others scattered their energy like seeds in the wind, he planted his in fertile soil and tended it faithfully. This teaches us that manifestation favors the consistent heart. Your power lies not in the number of dreams you pursue, but in the depth of attention you give to each one. When you commit to a single direction, the quantum field aligns all circumstances to support your journey. Every time you maintain focus despite distraction, you strengthen your vibrational signature. Each day you return to your chosen path. You deepen the groove through which universal energy flows. This is not about rigid determination, but about honoring the natural law of momentum. The sacred practice. Choose one intention that resonates deeply with your heart. Each day tend to it as you would a precious flower. Water it with your attention. Let your thoughts return to it naturally, like a breath finding its rhythm. Continue this practice until you feel its presence humming through your daily life, knowing that steady devotion creates a magnetic force that nothing can resist. Chapter 24. The Symphony of Cooperation. In a bustling marketplace, Ivy stood alone, viewing each merchant as her rival. She clutched her prized silks close, unwilling to share her trading secrets or forge alliances. "Success comes to the strongest," she whispered, watching others through narrowed eyes. Yet despite her shrewd tactics, prosperity remained just beyond her grasp. The quantum field reveals a profound truth. The universe operates through interconnection, not isolation. Every particle in existence dances in relationship with countless others, creating a vast tapestry of mutual support. When you perceive others as competitors, you resist the natural flow of abundance that moves through cooperation. Your thoughts emit vibrations that ripple through the quantum fabric, attracting circumstances that match their frequency. When you broadcast signals of competition and scarcity, you create interference patterns that disrupt the natural harmony of manifestation. The universe cannot deliver abundance through a channel clouded by fear of loss. Rufina, a weaver in a distant valley, discovered this wisdom through an unexpected turn of events. Rather than guarding her unique patterns, she freely shared her knowledge with fellow artisans. She formed circles where craftspeople exchanged techniques, each contributing their distinct gifts. As their collective wisdom grew, so did their individual success. Customers, drawn to the atmosphere of shared creativity, brought more business to all. Through Rufina's example, we witness the quantum principle of multiplication through unity. Like instruments in an orchestra, each participant's unique contribution enhances the whole without diminishing any individual part. The universe responds to this harmony by amplifying opportunities for everyone involved. This teaching illuminates a fundamental law. Abundance expands through collaboration. When you align with this truth, you tap into the infinite resourcefulness of the quantum field. Every person you encounter becomes a potential partner in creation, rather than an obstacle to overcome. Your role in this cosmic dance is not to outperform others, but to find your unique note in the universal symphony. As you shift from competition to cooperation, you'll discover that success multiplies effortlessly. The energy once spent defending against imagined rivals now flows freely into creative expression. The ancient practice view every encounter today as an instrument joining your orchestra of fulfillment. Each person carries a note that complements your own song. Let your interactions become a dance of mutual enrichment, knowing that in the quantum field, harmony creates abundance for all. Chapter 25. The Invisible Infrastructure. In ancient times, a woman named Minnie dwelled in quiet skepticism of life's hidden currents. Each morning she would rise, meticulously planning every detail, believing only in what her eyes could witness. Yet the universe had gentle lessons waiting to unfold. The wisdom of quantum entanglement teaches that what appears as coincidence is actually the precise architecture of universal intelligence. Like invisible scaffolding supporting a grand cathedral before its stones are laid, your thoughts construct energetic frameworks in the quantum field. These unseen structures become the blueprint from which physical reality emerges. As days passed, Minnie began noticing peculiar alignments in her experience. A chance meeting would lead to an unexpected opportunity. A wrong turn would guide her to exactly what she needed. What seemed like random events began arranging themselves with impossible precision, forming patterns too perfect to dismiss. Her dreams, once relegated to wishful thinking, started materializing through synchronicities that defied logical explanation. The deeper truth reveals itself. The universe operates through invisible orchestration before manifesting in physical form. Your thoughts are not merely passive observers, but active architects, designing subtle frameworks that eventually solidify into experience. Every intention you hold creates unseen scaffolding in the quantum field, preparing the space where your desires will ultimately take shape. Felix, a humble craftsman, discovered this principle through patient observation. Rather than forcing outcomes or demanding immediate results, he learned to trust in perfect timing. He understood that just as a seed requires time in darkness before breaking through soil, manifestations need space to arrange themselves in the unseen realms. As he relaxed into this knowledge, he watched in amazement as opportunities, resources, and connections emerged naturally, as if invisible hands had been quietly arranging them all along. This ancient wisdom reminds us that faith is not blind hope, but practical quantum engineering. When you trust in the unseen orchestration of life, you allow the universal intelligence to work unimpeded, organizing circumstances with an elegance beyond what forcing could achieve. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into peaceful awareness. Close your eyes and envision unseen hands of light gently arranging the pieces of your next breakthrough. Feel deep gratitude for this invisible support system, knowing that even now, the quantum field is orchestrating your highest good. Let this feeling of supported trust remain with you throughout your day. Chapter 26. The Grace of Gratitude. In a small mountain village, there lived a merchant who meticulously recorded each blessing in a leather-bound book. Day after day, she wrote of good fortune and abundance, yet her life remained unchanged. The merchant's name was Goldie, and though her intentions were pure, her gratitude remained trapped in ink and paper, never touching the depths of her heart. The ancient texts speak of a profound truth. Gratitude is not a practice of the mind, but an art of the heart. When you list your blessings mechanically, you create ripples too shallow to reach the quantum field. True gratitude must flow like honey through your being, warming every cell until your entire body becomes a lighthouse of appreciation. Consider how the universe responds not to your words, but to your resonance. Each moment of genuine thankfulness sends waves through the fabric of reality, creating patterns that mirror your inner state. This is why some people seem blessed with constant synchronicities while others, despite their diligent practice, experience little change. Luther, a humble gardener, discovered this truth through simple observation. He never kept a gratitude journal, yet his life overflowed with unexpected gifts. His secret? He felt gratitude as deeply as one feels the warmth of the sun on a spring morning. When tending his plants, his appreciation flowed naturally, like water nourishing soil. Soon, his garden yielded harvests beyond explanation, and opportunities bloomed in every area of his life. The quantum field responds to emotional coherence. When your gratitude moves from intellectual exercise to embodied experience, you activate a frequency that the universe cannot help but match. This is not magic, but rather the natural law of resonance playing out through the subtle dimensions of reality. Think of gratitude as quantum lubrication. It smooths the paths between possibility and manifestation. When you truly feel thankful, you align with the natural flow of abundance. The universe does not require your words. It awaits your feeling tone, your heart's genuine song of appreciation. The practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Recall something simple that brings you joy, perhaps the sound of rain, the purr of a cat, or the taste of fresh bread. Don't just think about this blessing. Let it fill you completely. Allow thankfulness to build in your chest until it radiates through your entire body. Notice how your fingertips begin to tingle with appreciation. Hold this sensation and observe as the world around you seems to shimmer in response, as if reality itself is acknowledging your gratitude. Let this feeling guide your hours, knowing that true thankfulness is the key that unlocks the universe's abundant response. Chapter 27. The Continuum of Life. In a distant valley there lived an aging weaver who clung desperately to every thread in her tapestry. Each morning she would count her remaining spools of yarn, grieving as they diminished, not seeing how their transformation into beautiful cloth represented life's endless cycle of renewal. Like this weaver, you too may find yourself resisting life's natural transitions. Yet within the quantum field, nothing truly ceases to exist. It merely shifts from one expression to another, like water flowing from stream to cloud to rain. Each ending opens a doorway through which new energy flows, carrying fresh possibilities on its tide. The universe operates through continuous transformation. When you resist this flow, you create friction against the natural order. Your fear of endings becomes a barrier to the very abundance you seek. Just as winter's retreat is essential for spring's emergence, every conclusion carries within it the seeds of new beginnings. Consider how a butterfly emerges only through the dissolution of the caterpillar. The caterpillar doesn't lose itself. It becomes its next magnificent expression. Similarly, your experiences aren't truly ending, but evolving into higher forms of understanding and growth. Grover, a humble gardener, discovered this truth while tending his beloved roses. Each fall, as his flowers began to fade, he initially felt loss. But one autumn, instead of mourning their passing, he began celebrating the cycle. thanking the dying blooms for their beauty and welcoming the dormant period as preparation for spring's splendor. This simple shift in perspective transformed his entire life. Opportunities that seemed to close suddenly revealed new pathways. Relationships that changed opened space for deeper connections. His abundance grew not despite endings, but because of his embrace of transformation. The quantum field responds not to your resistance, but to your acceptance. When you welcome change as natural and necessary, you align with the universe's perpetual dance of renewal. Every ending becomes a graduation, every closure a commencement. Permanence exists not through stasis, but through constant renewal. Like a river that remains a river despite its ever-changing waters, you remain yourself through all transformations, growing richer with each cycle of change. The law of eternal transformation teaches that energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted from one form to another. Your task is not to prevent endings, but to recognize them as doorways through which new forms of blessing emerge. Ancient practice, the welcoming ritual. When something in your life appears to end, pause in quiet reflection. Place your hand over your heart and whisper softly, "I welcome the new form you are becoming." Feel the gentle assurance that nothing truly ends. It simply transforms into its next expression. Let this truth settle into your bones until you recognize every ending as a sacred threshold of renewal. Chapter 28. The Signature of Joy. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Nora meticulously counted her coins each evening, postponing celebration until she reached specific monetary goals. Though her business grew steadily, satisfaction remained forever on the horizon, always one achievement away. She believed joy must be earned through accomplishment, not understanding that joy itself was the currency of manifestation. The quantum field reveals a profound truth. Joy does not follow creation. It precedes it. Your emotional state is not a reaction to circumstances, but a magnetic force that shapes them. When you postpone happiness until conditions match your desires, you unknowingly reverse the creative sequence of the universe. Consider how a seed contains within it the complete blueprint of the flower. Similarly, your joy contains the pattern of coming manifestations. It is not the reward for achievement, but the very soil from which achievement grows. Emmett, a humble street musician, discovered this wisdom through an unexpected revelation. Each morning, before anyone dropped a single coin in his hat, he would play his violin with the same enthusiasm as if performing for a grand concert hall. He didn't wait for success to feel successful. He felt successful first. Most remarkably, he would bow to his imaginary audience, expressing genuine gratitude for appreciation not yet received. Within weeks, his corner became a gathering place. Restaurant owners invited him to play for their patrons. A local theater offered him regular performances. The universe had simply matched the celebration he had already begun in his heart. His story illuminates the quantum principle that joy is causal, not consequential. The field responds not to what you want, but to what you are already being. When you embrace joy ahead of evidence, you transmit a frequency that the universe must echo. Think of joy as the blueprint and circumstances as the building. Just as architects don't wait for a building to feel excited about their design, you need not wait for conditions to embrace the feeling of your desired reality. Your joy is the invisible architect of coming manifestations. The law of pre-creation teaches that every external reality first exists as an internal frequency. By choosing joy now, you install the energetic template for what will follow. This isn't pretending. It's pre-paving the quantum pathway through which your desires will travel. Ancient practice, the laughter of creation. Find a quiet moment today and laugh freely, not because anything amusing has happened, but because you understand that joy is your creative power in action. Let your laughter ring out as a declaration that miracles are already in motion, scheduled to arrive at the perfect moment. Feel how your spontaneous joy ripples through the quantum field, preparing the way for manifestations that will soon mirror your celebration. Chapter 29. The Entangled Self. In a quiet village nestled among ancient hills, a woman named Bertha spent years searching for her perfect spiritual companion. Each morning, she would gaze into the distance, convinced that somewhere her ideal match awaited discovery. She consulted mystics, followed omens, and traced synchronicities, certain that finding this ethereal partner would complete her. The universal law whispers a deeper truth. What you seek outside yourself mirrors what you have yet to embrace within. Every relationship serves as a looking glass, reflecting back the vibrations you emit into the cosmic web. When you understand this principle, the desperate search for completion transforms into an invitation for self-discovery. Consider how the quantum field operates. Particles separated by vast distances remain intimately connected, responding to each other instantly across space and time. So too does your inner world orchestrate the dance of your outer experiences. The relationships you attract are not random encounters, but precise reflections of your internal frequency. Wilbur, a reclusive philosopher, discovered this truth through an unexpected awakening. For years, he had isolated himself, believing others could not understand his depths. One morning, while watching dewdrops glisten on a spider's web, he realized each strand connected to every other in an intricate dance of mutual support. In that moment, he understood. The world was not separate from him, but an extension of his own consciousness. As Wilbur began treating every encounter as an interaction with his own expanded self, his isolation dissolved. The neighbor's laugh became his joy. The stranger's tears became his compassion. He discovered that what he had sought in others had always resided within him, waiting to be recognized. This teaching reveals the profound simplicity of quantum entanglement. There is no separation between observer and observed, between seeker and sought. The universe does not withhold companionship. It awaits your recognition of the companionship that already exists in all things. When Bertha finally understood this truth, she stopped searching. In that cessation, she discovered what sages have long known. Wholeness is not found, but remembered. The perfect companion she sought had been with her all along, dressed in the costume of her own consciousness. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and speak to reality as though addressing your own heart. Let your words carry the tenderness you would offer your dearest friend. Notice how the air around you softens in response, how the space between thoughts fills with gentle recognition. This is not merely a practice, but a remembrance of your eternal unity with all that is. Chapter 30. The Throne of Stillness. Following the quiet path of ancient wisdom you will now uncover a truth that has whispered through the ages. Mastery lies not in complexity, but in surrender. In a temple high in distant mountains, Agnes dedicated herself to learning every advanced manifestation technique she could find. She memorized sacred mantras, practiced intricate mudras, and studied esoteric rituals passed down through generations of mystics. Yet, despite her diligence, the results remained elusive. The more she grasped for control, the more it seemed to slip through her fingers like water. The universal law reveals that true power flows not from doing, but from being. When you release the need to manipulate energy and instead allow yourself to rest in pure awareness, you align with the natural order that governs all creation. This alignment is not achieved through force or skill, but through the gentle art of allowing. Consider Leonard, who after years of spiritual seeking made a profound discovery. One morning, sitting in his garden, he simply stopped. Stopped trying, stopped reaching, stopped believing he needed to be more than he was in that moment. In that space of pure presence, something miraculous occurred. The universe began orchestrating on his behalf without any instruction. Opportunities appeared effortlessly, relationships harmonized naturally, and abundance flowed without strain. He had stumbled upon the ultimate secret. Stillness is sovereignty. This truth echoes through quantum reality. Consciousness itself is the master force. When you rest in awareness, you activate the field of infinite possibility. No technique can improve upon the perfect order that emerges from simple presence. The quantum shift occurs not through mastery of method, but through surrender to the intelligence that already flows through you. You are not required to orchestrate the universe. You need only recognize that you are the universe, expressing itself through human form. In your natural state of being, you are already complete. All techniques, practices, and rituals are merely pathways leading back to this fundamental truth. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Release all need to manifest, create, or achieve. Simply rest in gentle awareness, knowing that creation moves through you as effortless royalty. Allow this state of pure presence to remind you of who you truly are, the sovereign awareness through which all possibilities emerge. Part 4. The Infinite Horizon. Chapter 31. The Pulse Between Worlds. As you journey deeper into these ancient truths, let the story of Olive guide your understanding. Within the quiet depths of her morning meditation, Olive encountered a startling vision. She perceived not one but two distinct versions of herself existing simultaneously. The first version moved through life with tension, constantly pushing against invisible barriers, while the second emanated a natural peace that drew experiences toward her like moths to flame. This revelation touches upon a fundamental principle of quantum consciousness. Multiple versions of your reality exist in parallel, each vibrating at its own frequency. These alternate paths are not mere possibilities. They are living currents of potential, each as real as the next, awaiting your emotional resonance to spring into tangible form. When you understand this truth, you recognize that manifestation is not about creating something new, but about aligning with a version of reality that already exists. Your emotional state serves as a tuning fork, causing the quantum field to collapse into the reality that matches your inner frequency. Consider the transformation of Arnolda, known simply as Arnie to those close to her. After years of struggling against circumstances, she made a profound choice to embody the serenity she sought rather than chase it. Instead of trying to change her external world, she began living as though she were already her most peaceful self. The shift was subtle, yet powerful. Each morning, she would pause before entering her workplace and consciously choose to operate from a place of calm certainty. When challenges arose, she would ask herself, "How would my serene self navigate this moment?" Rather than reacting from habit, she would pause and align with this tranquil version of herself. Gradually, almost imperceptibly, her life began to merge toward this calmer timeline. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach appeared naturally in her path. Relationships transformed without effort. Even her physical environment seemed to reorganize itself to match her inner state of peace. This demonstrates a crucial understanding. The quantum field presents an infinite menu of possible realities, but it responds not to what you want. It answers what you consistently embody. Your most practiced emotional state becomes your homing signal, drawing you inexorably toward the timeline that matches its frequency. The key lies not in forcing change, but in recognizing which version of yourself you're currently expressing. Are you vibrating with the frequency of struggle or the frequency of ease? Are you embodying the self who strives or the self who allows? Now, engage in this timeless practice to align with your preferred reality. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and bring to mind the version of yourself you wish to become. See this self as a being of pure light, existing just behind a thin, translucent veil. Don't strain to reach through the veil. Simply observe this luminous self with gentle attention. Begin to breathe slowly and deeply, feeling each breath dissolving the veil ever so slightly. As you continue breathing, allow yourself to recognize that this light is not separate from you. It is you, simply vibrating at a different frequency. Keep breathing until you no longer sense any separation between your current self and this radiant version. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering who you truly are. Chapter 32. The Gravity of Truth. In the depths of wisdom lies a truth often overlooked. Authentic feeling, whether light or shadow, carries more power than forced positivity. This understanding unfolds through the story of Faye, who walked the spiritual path believing that only sunshine thoughts could manifest her desires. Day after day, Faye crafted elaborate affirmations and maintained an unwavering smile, even as her heart carried unacknowledged wounds. She filled journals with positive declarations and surrounded herself with inspirational messages. Yet her manifestations remained weak, like radio signals caught in interference. The quantum field responds not to the words we speak, but to the vibrational coherence we embody. When inner truth and outer expression misalign, we create a frequency of discord that scatters our creative power. Like a musical instrument playing out of tune, our energy disperses rather than concentrates. This principle revealed itself through Faye's journey as her carefully constructed positivity began to crack. The more she denied her authentic feelings, the more the universe seemed to mirror her inner fragmentation. Opportunities slipped away, relationships remained surface level, and her deepest desires stayed just beyond reach. It was through witnessing Ru's path that the mystery of manifestation became clear. Ru, known in her village for her quiet honesty, never forced herself to feel what wasn't true. When sadness visited, she acknowledged its presence. When joy bubbled up, she let it flow freely. Most importantly, when something in her life needed changing, she faced it with gentle candor. A remarkable phenomenon began to unfold around her. The more Ru aligned with her authentic feelings, the more life aligned with her authentic desires. People naturally gravitated toward her transparent energy. Opportunities appeared with perfect timing. Even challenges seemed to resolve themselves with unexpected ease. This reveals a fundamental law of quantum creation. Truth acts as a gravitational force in consciousness. When you align your outer expression with your inner reality, you create a coherent signal that the universe can clearly receive and reflect. Like a clear bell ringing through still air, authentic vibration travels unimpeded through the field of possibility. To step into this power of authentic manifestation, we turn to an ancient practice passed down through generations of wisdom keepers. Find a quiet space where you can be entirely alone with your truth. Close your eyes and place one hand over your heart. Let your attention sink beneath the surface of thoughts into the deeper currents of feeling. Without judgment, notice what exists there. Now, in a voice barely above a whisper, speak one completely honest thing about your current experience. It might be as simple as, "I am tired," or as complex as, "I am afraid to fail." Feel how this moment of authenticity creates a subtle shift in the atmosphere around you. The universe is reorganizing itself around your truth, clearing the way for genuine manifestation to occur. This practice reminds us that true power flows not from perfection, but from integrity. When we honor our complete human experience, we align with the natural order of creation itself. Chapter 33. The Compass of Wonder. In the quiet dawn hours, Hester would stare at her ceiling, feeling the weight of routine pressing against her chest. Each morning brought the same mechanical motions, the same dutiful steps toward a life that felt more borrowed than owned. Yet beneath this gray blanket of familiarity, something stirred, a subtle whisper of possibility that she had long ignored. The universe speaks in the language of enthusiasm. When your heart quickens at a thought, when your mind wanders persistently toward an idea, you are receiving signals from the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of creation. These moments of genuine interest are not random. They are coordinates on your soul's compass, pointing toward your highest alignment. Hester's transformation began the day she noticed how her attention naturally drifted toward the wild herbs growing in forgotten corners of her garden. Each new discovery lit a spark in her spirit, and she found herself spending hours learning their names, their properties, their ancient uses. This simple curiosity, once acknowledged, became a beacon, illuminating an entirely new path. The principle is clear. Awareness follows excitement as naturally as rivers flow downstream. Your genuine interests are not distractions from your purpose. They are its markers. The quantum field responds not to what you think you should do, but to what genuinely ignites your spirit. Consider Thaddeus, who spent years collecting and repairing old timepieces simply because they fascinated him. He would lose himself for hours studying their intricate mechanisms, never questioning why he felt so drawn to their rhythmic precision. Others called it a mere hobby, but Thaddeus followed this thread of fascination. It led him to discover rare skills in microengineering, eventually creating revolutionary medical devices that saved countless lives. What seemed like random interest was actually destiny's subtle guidance. The wisdom here reveals itself. Wonder is the playful face of divine direction. When you follow your natural curiosity, you align with the universe's inherent organizing principle. Joy is not a luxury. It is a sophisticated guidance system, more reliable than any logical plan. The ancient practice of following wonder. Find a quiet moment and recall something that recently caught your attention. Perhaps a book title that intrigued you, a conversation topic that lit you up, or a skill you've always wanted to explore. Notice how your energy shifts when you think about it. Does your breath deepen? Does time seem to pause? These are signs that you've touched a thread of your authentic path. Choose one spark of genuine interest, no matter how small or seemingly impractical. Follow it today without questioning where it leads. Trust that your natural enthusiasm is the universe's way of guiding you toward your highest expression. Joy knows the map better than logic ever could. Remember, the quantum field responds to authentic engagement. When you align with your genuine interests, you activate a frequency that attracts corresponding opportunities and connections. Your curiosity is not random. It is the compass needle pointing toward your destiny. Chapter 34. The Breath of Creation. In the silence between heartbeats lies a truth so ancient it predates words themselves. Leona, a woman who walked through life carrying the weight of countless worries, noticed something peculiar one autumn morning. As anxiety gripped her chest, her breathing became shallow and quick like a trapped bird. Yet in moments of pure joy, her breath flowed like a river, deep and unhurried. This simple observation led her to an extraordinary revelation about the quantum nature of existence. The breath, you see, is not merely a biological function. It is the most intimate dance between your consciousness and the universal field. Each inhalation speaks a language the quantum realm understands with perfect clarity. Your breathing pattern serves as a living code, constantly programming the matrix of reality around you. This wisdom found its expression through Clydean, who inherited her grandmother's small flower shop in a forgotten corner of town. Rather than surrendering to the struggle of declining business, she discovered an ancient breathing practice. Each morning, before opening her shop, she would stand among her flowers and fill her lungs with deliberate gratitude. She breathed in the beauty surrounding her, allowing appreciation to expand her chest like a sail-catching wind. As she exhaled, she released this gratitude into the field around her. Day by day, something shifted. Customers began appearing at precisely the right moments. Rare flowers arrived unexpectedly. A magazine writer stumbled upon her shop during a detour. Each synchronicity aligned perfectly with the rhythm of her grateful breathing. The quantum field responds not to what you say or think, but to the vibrational signature you embody. Your breath carries this signature with unmatched purity. When you breathe in fear, the field arranges particles to match that constriction. When you breathe in love, the universe conspires to reflect that expansion. Ancient practice, the sky breath. Find a space where you can stand undisturbed. Place your hands on your chest and imagine the entire sky, vast, limitless, and serene, awaiting your next breath. As you inhale, draw in this infinite expanse, letting your chest expand as though it could contain all of creation. Feel the boundless peace of the cosmos filling every cell of your being. As you exhale, imagine gifting this peace back to the world. Release your breath as though you are blessing the quantum field itself with tranquility. Let each cycle of breath become a sacred exchange between your consciousness and the universe. This is not merely breathing. It is coding reality through the rhythm of your being. Chapter 35. The Sanctuary of Silence. In a bustling city lived Edna, who filled every moment with sound. Music streamed through her headphones during walks, television chattered in empty rooms, and notifications chirped endlessly from her devices. Like many, she believed activity meant progress, and noise signified life. Yet beneath this constant symphony of distraction lay an unconscious fear, the fear of hearing what silence might reveal. The quantum field speaks in whispers, not shouts. Its messages arrive in the spaces between thoughts, in the quiet moments when the mind's chatter subsides. These gaps in noise serve as portals through which universal wisdom flows. But how can one hear the subtle language of the universe when surrounded by an endless cascade of sound? The ancient teaching reveals that silence is not empty. It is alive with information. Like the space between stars that appears dark, yet contains invisible forces binding galaxies together, quiet moments pulse with creative potential. Within stillness resides the seeds of every manifestation, waiting to be recognized and nurtured into form. This truth unfolded naturally for Marvin, a man who discovered that comfort with quiet opened doorways to deeper understanding. At first, silence felt uncomfortable, even threatening. But as he learned to rest in these still spaces, something extraordinary emerged. Guidance began arriving not as distant wisdom to be sought, but as immediate knowing that arose from within. The quantum field operates beyond words, beyond the limitations of language. In the absence of external noise, its subtle frequencies become perceptible. Like a radio finding clear reception between stations, your consciousness tunes to finer vibrations when freed from constant interference. As Marvin embraced these quiet moments, life began organizing itself with uncanny precision. Solutions appeared before problems fully formed. Opportunities arose that seemed to anticipate his needs. He had stumbled upon a profound truth. Silence is not the absence of communication, but its purest form. The universal wisdom teaches that stillness acts as a listening station for quantum dialogue. When you quiet the external world, you activate an ancient technology of consciousness, one that allows direct communion with the intelligent field that orchestrates reality. This is not meditation as discipline, but silence as relationship. Ancient practice. Choose one moment today to embrace complete silence. Turn off all devices, step away from activity, and allow yourself to experience uninterrupted quiet. Don't try to empty your mind. Simply observe how silence feels in your body. Notice any resistance or discomfort without trying to change it. Gradually, you'll discover that silence is not a void to be filled, but a presence to be welcomed. Let stillness become your companion rather than your adversary. In this sacred pause, the quantum field speaks its clearest truth. Chapter 36. The Architecture of Faith. In the halls of ancient wisdom lies a revelation about the nature of manifestation, one that emerged through George's journey from wishful thinking to unshakable knowing. Each night she would gaze at the stars, listing her desires like items on an endless scroll, wondering why her dreams remained distant constellations rather than earthly realities. The universe teaches that faith is not mere hoping. It is the invisible architecture of creation itself. When you truly believe, you are not engaging in fantasy but participating in the quantum blueprinting of reality. Each thought infused with genuine faith becomes a pillar. Each emotion of certainty forms a foundation, and every moment of trust weaves the very fabric of manifestation. George's transformation began when she stopped treating her desires as distant wishes and started experiencing them as structures already complete in the unseen realm. The shift was subtle yet profound, from "I want" to "I know." This knowing became the scaffolding through which her desires could climb into physical form. This truth found its perfect expression through Herbert, a simple craftsman who understood the power of invisible blueprints. While others saw empty space, Herbert perceived the detailed architecture of his aspirations. He didn't merely imagine his dreams. He inhabited them with such conviction that reality had no choice but to conform to his unwavering belief. Each morning, Herbert would sit in silence, feeling the solid presence of his visions as though they already existed in physical form. He treated his dreams not as fragile hopes, but as completed structures awaiting their moment of visibility. The universe responded to this architectural certainty with precise manifestation, proving that faith is not about waiting. It is about building in the quantum realm. Your dreams are not distant possibilities floating in some future dimension. They are blueprints already drawn in the fabric of existence, awaiting your recognition of their reality. Faith is the master builder, constructing in realms beyond physical sight until the visible world catches up to what you know to be true. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and select one cherished dream. Rather than yearning for it, begin to feel its structural reality in the unseen realm. Experience its foundations, its support beams, its elegant framework already complete. Let your belief become the architect, designing with emotion rather than thought. Rest in absolute knowing that your dream's invisible scaffolding grows stronger with each moment of unwavering faith. Maintain this practice until you feel the solid presence of your vision's architecture as clearly as you feel the chair beneath you. Chapter 37. The Light of Acceptance. A merchant named Myrtle carried regret like heavy coins in her pockets, each what-if weighing down her steps. Every morning she would count these invisible burdens, if only she had taken a different path, spoken different words, made different choices. The weight of these unrealized possibilities drained her energy until she could barely lift her eyes to tomorrow's horizon. The quantum field knows only the present moment. When you resist what was, you create interference patterns in what is. Your energy becomes entangled in time streams that never manifested, leaving less vitality for the now. This scattering of focus across phantom timelines prevents clear transmission of your current intentions. Think of your life force as water. Regret builds dams in the stream, holding back the natural flow of your power. These blockages serve no purpose except to maintain stories about how things should have been. The universe responds not to your history but to your current vibrational signature. When you accept what was, you release the energy needed to create what will be. In a coastal village, a fisherman named Neil spent years lamenting the boat he had lost in a storm. His thoughts remained anchored to that day until he realized his resistance had become heavier than the boat itself. One evening, watching the waves meet the shore, he understood. Each wave released itself completely to become the next wave. In that moment of clarity, Neil forgave himself for all that was lost. Instantly, the atmosphere around him lightened. Within days, unexpected opportunities appeared: a partner with a spare vessel, favorable fishing conditions, waters teeming with abundance. His acceptance had completed a long-suspended energy circuit, allowing new possibilities to flow. Your past choices were neither mistakes nor wrong turns. They were expressions of who you were in those moments. When you embrace these earlier versions of yourself, you harmonize different points in your timeline. This harmony creates coherence in your field, amplifying your present power to attract. The ancient practice of timeline harmonization. Sit quietly and envision your past self at a moment of choice you've long questioned. Rather than trying to change what happened, mentally embrace that version of you with deep understanding. Feel how this acceptance creates resonance between then and now, like two strings vibrating in perfect harmony. Let yesterday and today hum the same note until time itself becomes a single, unified field of possibility. Chapter 38. The Alchemy of Curiosity. In a quiet mountain village, a woman named Bonnie devoted herself to spiritual practice with stern determination. She approached each ritual with grave solemnity, convinced that transformation required absolute seriousness. Her meditation cushion felt like a throne of discipline, and her mantras emerged as solemn declarations. Yet despite her dedication, the magic she sought remained elusive. The quantum field responds not to effort, but to alignment. When you release the weight of seeking and embrace the lightness of discovery, the universe reveals itself as a playground of infinite possibility. Your natural state of wonder serves as the master key to transformation. The moment you trade rigid pursuit for playful exploration, you signal to the field your readiness for expansion. Like a child discovering dewdrops on morning grass, each experience becomes fresh with potential. This is not frivolity, but rather the highest form of spiritual engagement, one that recognizes joy as the natural state of creation. In a seaside town, there lived a man named Warren who stumbled upon this truth by accident. Rather than forcing manifestation, he began treating life as an experiment. He spoke to plants, danced with shadows, and asked questions of the wind. To others he appeared eccentric, but the universe recognized in his play a profound wisdom. Synchronicities began to flow through his life like water. Solutions appeared before problems fully formed. Resources materialized with perfect timing. The field had recognized him not as a supplicant, but as a co-creator in the cosmic dance. His playful spirit had activated quantum possibilities that his serious seeking had never touched. This teaches us that curiosity itself is a form of divine alchemy. When you approach life with genuine wonder, you open channels through which the extraordinary can flow. Your questions become keys that unlock doors in the fabric of reality. Your willingness to explore signals to the universe that you are ready to receive its mysteries. The sacred practice. Choose one routine task you perform each day: washing dishes, tying shoes, or walking to work. Approach it with fresh fascination, as though encountering it for the first time. Notice textures, movements, and sensations as if they were new discoveries. Let your curiosity transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. In this state of wonder, feel how the quantum field responds to your openness with unexpected gifts of insight and alignment. Chapter 39. The Geometry of Harmony. In the heart of an ancient city, a young woman named Nina discovered a peculiar truth about the spaces she inhabited. Though the walls remained unchanged and the furniture static, certain rooms seemed to embrace her with an inexplicable comfort, while others left her feeling scattered and unsettled. It was as if the very air held memories of thoughts once thought within those walls. This observation touches upon one of the universe's most subtle laws. The geometry of consciousness shapes the fabric of space itself. Your thoughts are not mere whispers in the void. They are architects of the invisible. Each emotion, each focused intention, weaves patterns in the quantum field that surrounds you. These patterns become the unseen blueprint that reality follows. Franklin, a merchant who traded in rare manuscripts, stumbled upon this wisdom through his daily practice of gratitude. His small shop, though modest in size, began to emanate a peculiar sense of order that customers could feel but never quite name. Even during the busiest market days, when chaos ruled the streets outside, his space maintained an inexplicable serenity. He had discovered, without realizing it, that mental harmony creates spatial harmony, that the geometry of thought manifests as tangible grace in the physical world. The universe responds not just to what you think, but to how your thoughts are arranged. When your inner world achieves balance, when gratitude aligns your energy like perfectly stacked stones, the outer world must reorganize to match this coherence. It is as though the space around you becomes a mirror, reflecting back the sacred geometry of your consciousness. This is why ancient temples were built with such precise measurements, and why certain places feel naturally conducive to meditation. The architecture of thought creates invisible temples in the air around you. Every space you inhabit becomes a sanctuary or a storm, depending on the structural integrity of your inner state. Sacred practice. Find a quiet corner in your home or workspace. Sit with your spine straight, as though an invisible thread connects the crown of your head to the stars above. Allow your thoughts to settle into perfect symmetry, gratitude on one side, acceptance on the other. Feel how your posture and your consciousness align like the pillars of an ancient temple. Notice how the space around you responds, how it seems to soften and organize itself around your centered presence. This is the geometry of grace, the silent language through which inner harmony speaks to outer form. Chapter 40. The Return to Lightness. In a remote monastery where silence hung thick as incense, lived Ida, who approached her spiritual practice with such gravity that her face had forgotten how to smile. Each meditation became an arduous task, each mantra a solemn duty. She measured her progress by the weight of her dedication, believing that enlightenment required the utmost seriousness. Then, one morning, as she sat in rigid meditation, a butterfly landed on her nose. Try as she might to maintain her composure, the tickling sensation proved too much. Her laughter burst forth, echoing through the halls like wind chimes in a storm. In that moment of unexpected joy, she felt lighter than she had in years. The word enlightenment suddenly revealed its true meaning: to become light, to rise above the density of overthinking. The quantum field responds to the lightness of being more readily than to the heaviness of effort. When you release the burden of spiritual perfectionism, you allow energy to flow naturally. Your vibration rises not through force, but through freedom. This is the paradox that many seekers miss. The path to mastery lies not in intensity, but in levity. Melvin discovered this truth during his decade-long quest for inner peace. He had filled notebooks with mantras, spent countless hours in meditation, yet transformation eluded him. One day, exhausted from trying, he began to laugh at his own seriousness. To his amazement, that simple act of self-directed humor shifted more energy than all his previous practices combined. His laughter became a daily practice. Each morning, instead of forcing himself into meditation, he would recall something amusing. Soon, synchronicities began appearing with playful precision. Solutions arrived wrapped in smiles. Even challenges seemed to bow before his newfound lightness. The quantum field dances with those who dare to be light. When you approach life with cosmic humor, density dissolves naturally. The universe itself has a sense of humor. Notice how often solutions appear just after you stop taking problems so seriously. This is not coincidence, but coherence. Ancient practice. Sit comfortably and recall a moment that made you laugh. Let that memory bubble up naturally until you feel its lightness in your body. Now, with this buoyant energy, look at something that has been troubling you. Don't try to solve it. Simply allow your inner smile to shine upon it like sunlight through morning fog. Notice how the situation begins to feel less solid, less serious. This is quantum alchemy, transforming density through delight. Part 5. The Living Infinity. Chapter 41. The Rhythm of Gratitude. In a sunlit corner of her office, Josephine sat with her gratitude journal, mechanically listing items: job, home, family. She approached thankfulness as though completing a tax form, checking boxes with dutiful efficiency but little heart. Each morning she would race through the ritual, proud of maintaining the practice yet unaware that true gratitude cannot be rushed. The universe operates on rhythm, not speed. Like waves meeting shore or stars pulsing light, all creation moves to an eternal tempo. When you harmonize your appreciation with this cosmic heartbeat, you tap into the natural flow of abundance. But when gratitude becomes mechanical, the flow constricts, not as punishment, but as natural law. Through this timeless wisdom, you learn that appreciation is music for the soul. Each genuine thank you creates a note in the symphony of manifestation. These notes must be played with feeling, with timing, with the natural cadence of your heart. A pianist rushing through scales produces noise, not music. Similarly, gratitude rushes becomes resistance disguised as ritual. Otis discovered this truth during his morning commute. Rather than seeing his drive as dead time between destinations, he began humming silent thank yous with each familiar landmark. Thank you for the old oak tree. Thank you for the corner store's neon sign. Thank you for the red light giving him a moment to breathe. His route remained unchanged, yet something shifted. The traffic seemed to part more easily. Parking spaces appeared as needed. Even his fuel efficiency improved. He had found the rhythm. This teaching reveals that gratitude is not about quantity, but quality. It's not the number of blessings counted, but the resonance of each thank you that attunes you to abundance. When appreciation becomes song rather than calculation, you enter the flow state of manifestation. Here, thankfulness is not duty, but dance, not obligation, but celebration. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. With each inhale, silently form the word thank. With each exhale, complete it with you. Let this two-beat gratitude become your meditation music. Don't direct it toward anything specific. Simply let it flow like a lullaby. Continue until you feel your whole being swaying to this gentle rhythm of appreciation. When thoughts arise, let them float past without disturbing your grateful melody. This is not about completing a certain number of repetitions, but about finding your natural tempo of thanks. Chapter 42. The Door of Possibility. A wandering soul once believed that fortune favored only the chosen few, until she discovered that readiness was the true key to opportunity's door. Beverly would often gaze at others' success with a mixture of longing and resignation, convinced that some invisible hand distributed luck with bias and prejudice. Yet the universe held a deeper truth, waiting patiently for her to uncover it. The quantum field responds not to wishful thinking or desperate yearning, but to a state of profound receptivity. Like a radio that must be tuned to receive clear signals, your consciousness must align with the frequency of possibility. This alignment comes not through effort or strain, but through the gentle art of allowing. When you stand before life with arms wide open, the universe recognizes your readiness. It is not about deserving or earning. It is about expanding your capacity to receive. Every particle of existence vibrates with potential, waiting for those prepared to dance with it. Wilma's story unveils this principle with elegant simplicity. Where others saw solid barriers, she chose to see doorways waiting to be discovered. Her mantra, "Why not me?" was not a challenge to the universe, but a declaration of readiness. Each time she spoke these words, she adjusted her internal frequency to match the vibration of possibility. At first, small shifts appeared. A chance encounter that led to an unexpected connection, a random conversation that revealed hidden opportunities. But as her receptivity deepened, the improbable became commonplace. Doors that seemed permanently sealed began to swing open of their own accord. What others called coincidence, she recognized as the natural response to her state of openness. The quantum field operates through resonance, not resistance. When you release the need to force outcomes and instead cultivate a state of willing receptivity, you allow the natural flow of abundance to move through your life. This is not passive waiting, but active allowing, a conscious choice to remain open to all possibilities. Ancient wisdom practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Envision yourself standing before a door that has long seemed locked to you. As you breathe deeply, imagine your willingness growing stronger with each breath, becoming a gentle light that emanates from your heart. Watch as this light touches the door, transforming its solid surface into pure transparency. Feel the boundary between possible and impossible dissolving in the presence of your openness. Let this vision remind you that readiness is the key that unlocks every door. Chapter 43. The Circle of Intention. In the tapestry of universal law, there exists a subtle truth about the nature of manifestation that many overlook. Lucille had mastered the art of manifesting small desires, a convenient parking space, an unexpected discount, a timely phone call. Yet inner peace eluded her grasp, slipping away like water through cupped hands. With each manifestation, she immediately began reaching for the next, creating an endless cycle of wanting that left her spirit weary. The ancient wisdom reveals that intention operates not as a continuous broadcast, but as a complete circuit. Just as the ocean's tide must both advance and retreat, your creative energy requires both expression and reception. This sacred rhythm mirrors the breath of the universe itself, the eternal dance of giving and receiving. Consider how a tree grows. It reaches upward toward the sun while simultaneously deepening its roots into the earth. This same principle governs the law of manifestation. Your intentions must not only reach outward toward their fulfillment, but also return to their source, completing the energetic circle that sustains all creation. Marvin Lee understood this profound truth. Where others clutched tightly to their desires, he learned to release them with loving trust. After setting an intention, he would consciously let it go, knowing it would orbit back to him at the perfect moment. Like a master archer who releases the arrow without anxiously tracking its flight, he found peace in the space between intention and manifestation. One autumn morning, after years of hoping to find his life's purpose, Marvin Lee simply blessed his desire and released it to the universe. He stopped checking for signs or forcing opportunities. 3 months later, a series of synchronicities led him to his dream vocation, teaching music to children with special needs. The timing was divine, the circumstances perfect, arriving not through constant striving, but through the natural completion of intention's orbit. This wisdom teaches that manifestation flows like a cosmic boomerang. The energy you release must complete its circuit before returning transformed. When you understand this principle, you cease the exhausting practice of constant emission and learn to rest in the certainty of return. Sacred practice, the circle of trust. Sit quietly and visualize your heart's deepest intention taking form as pure light. Watch this light extend outward like a golden boomerang, carrying your desire into the quantum field. Now, instead of chasing its path, allow it to begin its natural return journey. See it gathering evidence of its manifestation as it circles back, growing brighter with each moment. Feel the peace that comes from knowing that what you've released with faith must complete its sacred orbit. Trust in this ancient law of return, understanding that your role is not to control the journey, but to maintain the clear space for its completion. Chapter 44. The Seed of Perspective. Along the winding paths of an ancient village lived a woman named Birdie, who spent her days pointing fingers at the world around her. The weather was too harsh, the market prices too high, her neighbors too distant. Like many before her, she had fallen into the trap of believing circumstances held the power over her experience. Yet the quantum field whispers an ageless truth. Perception is not passive observation, but active creation. Every moment you witness comes pre-infused with the quality of your seeing. Your gaze does not merely record, it plants seeds that blossom into your reality. When you understand this principle, you grasp that circumstance is never the author of your experience. It is merely the canvas awaiting your artistic interpretation. The universe operates as a grand mirror, reflecting back not what is, but what you perceive to be. Stanley, a humble craftsman, discovered this wisdom through an unexpected teacher, frustration itself. One morning, his prized tools went missing, threatening to derail an important project. Instead of surrendering to anger, he chose to view the situation through the lens of curiosity. What might this moment be trying to teach me, he wondered. By evening, this shift in perspective had transformed his entire experience. The search for his tools led him to reorganize his workshop, discovering long-forgotten materials that proved more valuable than what he had lost. The delay gave his client time to refine their vision, resulting in a far superior design. What began as obstacle revealed itself as opportunity, not because the circumstances changed, but because Stanley altered his lens of perception. This teaching illuminates a fundamental quantum truth. Your perspective acts as a seed that determines what will grow in the garden of your experience. Plant seeds of victimhood, and life will faithfully produce more situations to validate that view. But plant seeds of wisdom and possibility, and watch as the same soil yields entirely different fruits. The quantum field does not distinguish between what you perceive and what you create. They are one and the same. Every observation you make becomes a blueprint for future manifestation. This is why masters of manifestation know that the art of creation begins not with action, but with vision. Ancient practice. When challenge appears in your path, pause and whisper this question to the quantum field. What treasure lies hidden within this moment? Allow your perception to shift from judgment to exploration, from resistance to receptivity. Feel how this simple reframe begins to alter the energetic soil from which your experience grows. The gift always exists. It awaits only your readiness to perceive it. Chapter 45. The Horizon Within. In the quiet valleys between mountains where ancient wisdom still whispers, there lived a cartographer named Ruth. Each day she pored over maps, measuring distances and plotting routes, convinced that somewhere beyond the next border lay the expansion she sought. Her fingers traced paper paths, while her spirit yearned for something the ink lines could not contain. Through the eternal teachings passed down through generations, a profound truth emerges. The map you seek is written in the invisible ink of consciousness. Your awareness is not contained by the boundaries of flesh, but extends as far as your willingness to expand. The universe mirrors the dimensions of your inner landscape. When you release the need to find expansion in physical coordinates, you discover that consciousness knows no borders. It flows like water, taking the shape of whatever vessel you provide through your beliefs and expectations. The field of infinite possibility responds not to the size of your steps, but to the vastness of your inner vision. Consider Emery, who lived in a small dwelling at the edge of the forest. Rather than seeking wider horizons through travel, he cultivated wonder in his daily observations. He marveled at the intricate patterns of leaves, contemplated the vast stories held within a single grain of sand, and saw entire universes in dewdrops. As his capacity for wonder grew, life responded with increasing magnificence. Opportunities arrived from unexpected directions, Connections formed across impossible distances, and his influence expanded far beyond his physical location. His story illuminates an essential truth. The universe expands to meet the edges of what you can imagine and accept as possible. When you release the need to measure growth in miles or metrics, you discover that true expansion happens in the infinite space of awareness itself. The field of all possibility does not recognize the limitations you place upon it. It knows only the boundaries of your acceptance, the frontiers of your willingness to receive. As your consciousness expands, reality reshapes itself to fill the new dimensions of your awareness. Practice. Settle into contemplation until you sense infinite space opening behind your eyelids and recognize it as home. Let your awareness expand beyond the confines of physical form, beyond the boundaries of what you once thought possible. In this vast inner space, recognize that you are not merely observing infinity. You are infinity observing itself through your unique perspective. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. You have journeyed through the ancient pathways of quantum consciousness, uncovering truths that have always resided within. Each chapter has revealed another facet of the diamond that is universal law, not as something to be mastered, but as something to be remembered. The journey began with understanding that your thoughts create reality, but it ends with the deeper wisdom that you are reality expressing itself. The mechanics of manifestation dissolve into the grace of being. Where once you sought to influence the universe through force of will, now you understand that gentle awareness itself commands the field. Every teaching has led you back to this essential truth. The universe serves not those who demand, but those who remember their unity with all that is. Your journey through these chapters has not been about gaining power, but about releasing the illusion that you were ever separate from it. The law of attraction was merely the surface ripple of a deeper current, quantum entanglement. Through this lens, you now see that gratitude is not a technique, but a natural response to recognizing your connection to all things. Trust is not a practice, but an acknowledgement of the perfect order already at work. Service is not sacrifice, but the joy of expressing your true nature. The field has always mirrored your deepest tone, not your loudest request. What appeared as coincidence was simply alignment wearing everyday clothes. What seemed like mastery was actually surrender, dressed as skill. Rest now in the knowledge that every molecule conspires for your highest good, not because you commanded it, but because you are it. The final key turns softly in the lock, to serve with joy, to welcome all contrast as growth, and to know with unshakable certainty that you are held in the embrace of a universe that knows exactly what it's doing. This is not the end of your journey, but the beginning of remembrance.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.